In this video, I'm going to use Blender 2.73 and show you how to make a simple birdhouse suitable for exporting from Blender and importing into Second Life. So let's begin. First off, we left click on that default setup, and we're going to start with the default cube. Now I've installed an option called a pie option for navigating, which allows me to quickly shift screen modes. So if you haven't installed that, you might want to consider it. Maybe do some Googling and anything, but we're going to select the default cube, and normally I use the pie, but you go to take object mode button down there on the left, click edit mode and go into edit. Now press 1 on the keyboard to be staring at the front of the cube. Roll the mouse to get it, make it a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to press 5 on the number keyboard to go into ortho mode, as you can see up here in the corner. Now I want to select edge mode, which you can either click here to select edge mode, or you hit Control Tab, you get the little menu, and then E to go into edge mode. Now tap A to unselect everything so you can see it's not yellow or orange. And then we're going to want to go in and click this guy to make all the edges visible. So if we scroll the view a little bit by pressing and holding the center mouse button, you can see the back edges. So go back to the front view again. Press and hold the Control key and the R key, and you see that purple line there. Left click, and then without moving the mouse, right click. So what we've done is we've created another edge loop that goes all the way around our cube. Now hit A to deselect everything and go into vertex mode, either clicking here or Control Tab V for vertex. Type B for box select. Press and hold the left mouse button down and select those vertices right there, and you can see we've got 2 of them. Up here in the top it says we've got 2 vertices out of a total of 12. Now G for grab, Z for the direction, and 1 for the amount, and it moves it up to the top right there. Hit A to select again. Now if we press and hold the center mouse button and roll it around, we see we have a pretty good beginnings for a birdhouse. Alright, so now we're going to go into face mode. Control Tab F for face, or use that thing down there again. Alright, now just to simplify it for beginners, I'm going to turn this guy off so we don't see the stuff in the back, and do a right click on that face, and then X to delete, and pick faces. And we've deleted the one face. We'll press the center mouse button down, roll it around, and get this one, and then right click to select that face, and X to delete the other face. Right, so now we have the faces removed. Now we need to go to Vertex edge mode, so Control Tab E for edge mode. And we're going to hold the Alt key down and then right click on one of the edges here. Holding the Alt key down is it selects all the edges in a loop, which is great. That's what we want. Got them all. Alright. Next is we've got them all selected. We want to extend that thing out to work on our roof. So we're going to type E to extrude, hit enter, and then want to scale it, and I don't want it to be scaled in the Z-axis, so I'm going to hit S to scale, hold the Shift key down, and then press Z so it does not change in the Z-axis. And then I want to scale it to produce a little bit of the roof here, so I'm going to type 1.1 and then hit enter. Now it's going to take a look what we've got so far. So we can see we have the beginnings of a roof. Again, press 1 on your number pad. Scroll it in a little bit with the mouse so that we can work with it a little bit better. Press A to deselect everything. Now to go to vertice mode. Control Tab V for vertice and do B for box select and select this vertice pair rather, and B to box select these. So we should have 4. Whoops, we didn't turn this guy on. Back on. So we'll do it again. B to box select, B box select. Okay, now we have 4. We want to move those down a little bit, so I'm going to do a G for grab, Z for the direction Z, minus 0.1. Hit enter. Now we see we've eliminated that distortion and moved them down so it looks pretty good so far. Alright, now we need to go back into edge mode again. Control Tab E for edge. Alt key, right select to get those edges there, to get that entire loop again. Hold the Alt key and then right select that edge. Now E to extrude again, G, Z, 0.1 to raise it up a little bit. Now let's take a look what we got. Looking good. 1 on the numpad, A to deselect everything. We're going to do Control Tab V, make sure we're in vertice mode. B to box select. Select those 2 top vertices right there. B to select, box select. Select those 2 right there. So if we press and hold the middle mouse button and roll it around, roll the mouse around on our desk, we see we have 4 vertices at the top. If we press the F keyboard, F as in Fox, and press that, it generates a face for us. So now we're going to do the same thing, generate the other face on the other top. B to box select. B to box select. Got it. Okay, so we have the other 4 vertices. F for face. Right, so our birdhouse is done with the exception of making the holes and putting the perch on it. So let's okay, so now we want to go back to object mode and generate some holes and whatever. So we can either go back and click edit down here and then convert to object mode. Now we want to add the object to add a cylinder and use that to produce our hole and our perch. So we do a Shift A mesh cylinder, and then down over here, before doing anything else, we want to change the number of vertices to 16, which is plenty. Now we want to, it's hidden inside the box. I do R to rotate, X on the X-axis, and type 90. Now we want to scale it down a little bit. You can just see it poking through the side of our birdhouse here. So we want to scale it down. So we do scale We don't really need to scale it in the y-axis, so we're going to do a shift y, which says scale in all the axes except y, and type 0.25, and then we see it's got a nice shrunk a good bit. Now we're going to raise it up by 1 unit. So I'm going to do a G, Z, 1. We've got it nicely placed about where a good spot for the hole to be is. Now we want to drag it out a little bit so we can see it a little bit. So I'm going to type GY minus 1. If you look at those little arrows there, you can see that the point for the y is going that way. That would have been plus y, so we moved it in the y direction. Okay, so now we have a cylinder in the middle of our birdhouse. We're going to use that to generate a hole. Right click on the birdhouse, go over to the right side here in this entry and click the icon that looks like a wrench to add a modifier. Click Add Modifier, find Boolean, go over here, and then we have to, you see it's red because it needs 2 objects, and we only have 1 at the moment, so we pick the cylinder, and it's invisible because the default is an intersect, and now we want to do is go to the difference argument, and then click Apply. Alright. Now we've actually created a hole here, so if I drag this out, you can see the hole. But we're going to leave that there for a sec, and then we're going to take and move the cylinders down by 1/2 blender units. So G, Z minus 0.5 to move it down. And then we're going to scale it. So we're going to do S 0.25. And then we've got our perch. Now I'll right click on the birdhouse again. Do another add modifier. Pick Boolean again. Pick cylinder again. And this time we're going to use the union option. Now we're going to see that we're going to right click on that little guy for the perch, and we're going to delete him. Oops, did we forget to apply the modifier? Yes, we did. Apply the modifier first. I hit Control Z to back up. Okay, apply the modifier. Now right click on the perch, X to delete. There we go. Okay. So now the birdhouse is pretty much, all the construction of the birdhouse is done. Now we have to spiff it up a little bit. So hit A a couple times to deselect everything so that nothing's colored. Then right click on the birdhouse and then go back into edit mode. And then we see we have the hole and we have the perch, and those are both selected conveniently. Now I'm going to hit A to deselect everything, go into vertex mode, Control Tab V for vertex mode, B for box select all of those vertices there at the end, and scale them down to 0 by typing S and a 0, enter. Now we select everything with hitting A a couple times so we have everything selected, and we remove all the doubles, because what that generates is all those vertices on that ring were all collapsed into one, so we want to remove all the excess. So we can do that, and it shows how many were removed. There was actually a vertex in here that was removed also. Okay, so now we've actually finished all of our construction for our birdhouse. Now we need to make it look a little better. And the way we do that is we go in and mess with the material selection. So over here on the right, we click this guy and go into the materials selection. And for that we want to be in face mode, so Control Tab F for face mode. And let's, for the moment here, I'm going to occlude those back faces. Alright, so little dots show the centers of the faces. And the first thing I guess I want to do is I want to select all the faces in the hole that we've created here. So we hold the Shift key down and right click on each one of those little dots there, approximately near the center. So they're all highlighted. Okay, got them all highlighted. Look around, make sure we have nothing else highlighted. Alright, now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to single click on that word material. We're going to type hole, because that's what that thing is. And then we assign that material to those selected faces by clicking assign. Now hit A to deselect everything. I'm going to turn this guy back on so we can select everything and do a B for box select and move it like so. B for box select to make sure we get those little dots, which are the centers of those faces. B to box select, make sure again get the little B's, and then we got one more here right there to get that little B to box select. So what we've done is we've selected all of the faces that make the roof. So we'll press and hold the center mouse button down and scroll around and make sure we got them all, and we do. Alright, so now we go in here and we want to create another material. So click the plus sign, then the new button, one click in the word material, type roof in there, and then click assign. Now we've assigned all the faces of the roof to it. Now we need to assign the rest of the outside part of the box. And I can do this multiple ways, but I'm going to do a B for box select and just drag it down like so. Notice I started at that little dot, which indicates the center of that face, and drag it all the way down to there, and that way it selects all of the faces, including the bottom. Do the same thing here. B to box select, drag it down, hit enter. Okay, so now let's double check. Do we have everything? Looks like we do. Got the front, back, bottom, everything selected. Good. Now we hit the plus sign over here. Click new. Single click inside material. I'm going to call that the box part of the thing. Hit enter. Do assign. That assigns the faces to that guy. Now I want to view it from the side. Hit A couple times there to deselect everything. B to box select, and then pick the faces on the perch. Notice you had to go all the way over to be sure to get the dots there that represent the front part of it. And the perch, I'm going to make it to use the same material as the roof, so I click on the materials entry over here for roof and click assign. Alright, so now we have the roof, the hole, and the sides and bottom and whatever all assigned. Now let's pick some colors. So for the roof, I'm going to do this. Select the roof, go down here where it says diffuse, click that guy, and the roof, we're going to make him yellow. And then pick the box, click that guy in the box, click diffuse, and make him blue. And then lastly, we want to click the word the hole up here, click diffuse, and drag it down here to black. Now, if we go into into object mode, we see we've got a pretty nice looking birdhouse, and since it's jet black in the hole there, we can't see anything in the hole. Alright, now let's get ready to export this into Second Life. We're going to go back into Edit, select everything, and then do a S to scale, and type 0.1. which makes it pretty small. Alright, now back into object mode, and so we're just about there. So click that little triangle and then click the name here. We'll call this birdhouse. That will become the name that it's going to use when we go to import it into Second Life. So right click on that guy while we're in object mode. Well, let's save it now. Control Shift S to save. Go up here, click birdhouse, and enter. Notice it turned red because it's overwriting one that I already had. Alright. Now that it's still selected, we need to be sure it's still selected here. File, Export, Collada. It's red again since I've already done it a couple times. And then click Export Collada. Now we go over to Second Life. And in Second Life, we go to select Build, Upload, Mesh, find where you saved it, select it, open. Now if we click Textures, you can see it, and hold the Control key down and move the left mouse key down, and you can see it looks like what we created. You can roll the mouse button around and move it a little closer. Right, so to import it, choose smaller non-moving, and we're going to go in and change these defaults on the triangle. So I'm going to change this one to 15, and then change this one to 47. What actually just move them up like that to 47, and then that one to 142. Press enter to now calculate the weights and fee. Click enter. It says it's going to cost me 11 lindens to upload it. Click upload. It says I paid 11 to upload it. There's the birdhouse in the inventory. Drag it out of my inventory to res it. And there's the birdhouse. Success. Thank you for watching. If you liked this thing, click like and or subscribe to it. And I'll see you on my next video.